My son, it's me. I'm alive, the old woman whispered in the pouring rain, her trembling voice cutting through the silence as the billionaire froze, the roses slipping slightly from his grip. He stared at her in disbelief, his jaw tightening, eyes scanning her wrinkled face like a stranger. But something deep inside him shook violently, as if a buried truth was clawing its way out. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments, what time is it and where are you watching from? Let's start. You've got the wrong person, he said coldly, stepping back near the grave. But his voice lacked confidence, like his own mind was beginning to betray him in that haunting moment. Rain poured harder over the cemetery as the old woman leaned on her wooden stick, her fragile body shaking. Yet her eyes remained locked on him with a painful certainty he couldn't escape. Just hours earlier, he had arrived in a luxury car, dressed in a black suit, coming here to bury his past forever, standing alone beside a grave that carried a name he refused to speak. The fresh flowers placed on the grave now seemed meaningless, as the past he thought was buried suddenly stood before him, breathing, broken, and calling him by a name no one else used. "You left me that night," she said slowly, her voice cracking, and suddenly his mind flashed back to a dark road, flashing lights, and a decision he had erased from memory. His heart started racing, his hands trembling as he looked at her again, this time not as a stranger, but as a ghost from a life he had abandoned without looking back. And just as he opened his mouth to deny everything again, a black car stopped near the cemetery gate, and a man stepped out watching them both, like he already knew the truth. The man from the black car walked slowly toward them, his shoes sinking slightly into the wet ground, his calm expression sending an uneasy chill through the billionaire's already shaken nerves. "Seems like the truth finally found you," the man said in a low voice, stopping just a few steps away, his eyes fixed on the billionaire as if he had been waiting for this exact moment. The billionaire turned sharply, anger masking his fear, asking who he was. But deep inside, a quiet panic was rising, whispering that this encounter was no coincidence at all. The old woman lowered her gaze for a second, her grip tightening on the stick, as if the presence of that man carried memories even heavier than the ones already suffocating the air. "Tell him," the man said to her, his tone firm, and she slowly looked back at the billionaire, her eyes now filled with both pain and a strange, unshakable determination. "You didn't just leave me. You ran," she said, and his mind instantly snapped back to that night rain, headlights, a figure on the road, and his car speeding away without stopping. His breathing became uneven as he took a step back, the cemetery suddenly feeling smaller, like the walls of his past were closing in around him with no way out. "Enough!" he snapped, trying to regain control, but his voice cracked, revealing the fear he was desperately trying to hide beneath years of power and success. The man in the coat took out a small envelope from his pocket, holding it out slightly, and said, "Everything you buried is inside this." The billionaire hesitated for a second before reaching out, but just as his fingers touched the envelope, the old woman whispered something that made his entire body freeze again. "Your name wasn't always the one you carry today." The words hit him harder than anything before, his fingers tightening around the envelope as his mind struggled to process what she had just revealed in that quiet, deadly tone. For a moment, the sound of rain faded, and all he could hear was his own heartbeat echoing in his ears, growing louder with every second as fear began to replace his anger. "What are you talking about?" he demanded, but his voice had lost its authority, now carrying a fragile uncertainty that he himself couldn't control anymore. The man in the coat gave a faint, knowing smile, as if he had already seen this reaction coming, as if this entire moment had been planned long before today. "Open it," the man said calmly, gesturing toward the envelope, his eyes sharp, watching every small movement as the billionaire slowly began to unfold what he had hidden for years. His hands trembled as he pulled out an old photograph, the edges worn out, slightly damaged by time, and the moment his eyes fell on it, his breath completely stopped. It was him, but not the man he had become. Instead, a younger version, standing beside a woman who looked exactly like the one in front of him now, only healthier, happier. The world around him seemed to spin as flashes of memories forced their way back. Laughter, a small house, simple meals, and a life he had erased in his desperate climb to wealth. "You changed everything. Your name, your identity, your past," the old woman said softly, her voice breaking. "But you couldn't erase me." He staggered slightly, gripping the edge of the grave for support, as the realization began to sink in, but before he could speak again, the man in the coat added something even more terrifying. "And the woman you left on that road, she didn't die that night." The sentence echoed in his mind again and again, refusing to fade, as if the past he buried was now standing alive in front of him, demanding answers he was never ready to give. "What do you mean? She didn't die?" he asked slowly, his voice barely audible, his eyes now filled with fear instead of denial as the rain kept falling around them. The man in the coat stepped closer, his presence calm but heavy, like someone carrying years of truth, and pointed toward the old woman without breaking eye contact. "She survived. Barely," he said, his tone sharp. "But what she lost that night, you can never imagine, no matter how rich you became." The billionaire's grip loosened, and the roses fell into the wet ground, forgotten, as his mind began to replay that night, with terrifying clarity he could no longer escape. A lonely road, heavy rain, a sudden figure in front of his speeding car, the loud impact, and then silence, followed by the choice that changed everything. I thought she was gone," he whispered, stepping back, his entire body shaking now, as the weight of his past finally broke through his carefully built life. The old woman's eyes filled with tears, but her voice remained steady as she spoke. "You didn't even stop, not once, not even to see if I was breathing." The cemetery no longer felt like a place of mourning, but a courtroom where his past stood as judge, jury, and punishment, closing in on him from every direction. And just as he struggled to hold himself together, the man in the coat revealed something that made his blood run cold. She wasn't alone that night. There was someone else with her. The words struck like lightning, and for a second, the world around him went completely silent, as if even the rain had paused to let that truth sink deeper into his soul. "Someone else," he repeated slowly, his voice hollow, his mind racing through memories he had tried to erase, but now returned sharper and more painful than ever. The old woman looked away, her lips trembling, as if saying the next words would reopen wounds that never truly healed over the years of suffering and silence. "You didn't just hit me. You destroyed 2 lives that night," she said, her voice breaking. Yet every word landed like a hammer against his collapsing reality. His legs weakened, forcing him to step back toward the stone path, his polished shoes now covered in mud, reflecting the fall of a man who once believed he had escaped his past. The man in the coat unfolded another paper from the envelope, holding it up under the dim cemetery light, revealing a hospital report stained and worn by time. "You were declared dead at the scene." "But she wasn't," the man said, his eyes cold, "and the second life didn't survive long after." The billionaire's breath caught in his throat as he stared at the document, unable to fully read it, yet understanding enough to feel the crushing weight of irreversible damage. His mind shattered into fragments of guilt, regret, and disbelief, as the image of that night now expanded beyond what he had allowed himself to remember. And just as he struggled to comprehend it all, the old woman whispered something that made everything even more unbearable. That second life was your own blood. The words didn't just hurt. They broke something inside him completely, as if every wall he had built over the years collapsed at once, leaving him exposed to a truth he could never
song that never ends.
Blood? He whispered, his voice shaking, eyes wide with disbelief, as his mind refused to accept what his heart already knew.
I know time has pulled you farther to a place I cannot reach, but my heart still leaves the door open for a dream beyond belief.
That night, I was trying
I'm still waiting for your footsteps, though I know they'll never come. Holding on to broken echoes of a love already gone. I'm still waiting for your return, though the stars say it's untrue. Somewhere deep inside this broken heart, I still belong.
You left before you could hear me say it, she continued, her voice
People
breaking.
tell me keep on
carrying your child.
that some endings must remain.
The ground beneath him,
but how do I stop believing
like it could give
when
away
your name still calls my pain? I'm still waiting for your footsteps, though I know they'll never come. Holding on to broken echoes of a love already gone. I'm still waiting for your return, though the stars say it's untrue. Somewhere deep inside this broken heart, I still belong to you.
And just when it felt like the truth had reached its peak, the old woman revealed something that shook him even deeper. You didn't just leave
Maybe
us
hope is
you
just
left us
a prison.
long before that.
Maybe
The
love can
accusation
blind
cut
the
deeper
soul,
than everything before.
but even
His
knowing
mind
you
spinning
won't
as he tried to
find me,
understand what she
I
meant.
still
But
wait
something inside him
here
already feared the answer. What do you mean? Before that?
I'm still waiting for
His
your
voice
footsteps, though
As if he
I
was
know
no
they'll
longer
never
the powerful man
come.
he once believed himself.
Holding on to broken echoes of a love already gone. I'm still waiting for your return, though the stars say it's untrue. Somewhere deep inside this broken heart, I still
You made a choice that erased us from your life long before that accident.
to you.
His heart sank as flashes of his early days returned struggles, debts, and the moment he was offered a chance to change everything at a very high cost. You were given a deal, the man in the coat added, his voice calm but sharp. A new identity, a new life, in exchange for leaving your past behind completely. The billionaire's breathing grew heavier as he remembered signing those papers, convincing himself it was the only way to rise, the only way to survive in a ruthless world. I thought I would come back for you, he said. But his words sounded empty even to himself, like a lie repeated too many times.
I
The
still
old
see
woman shook her
you
head
in the
slowly,
distance,
her tears falling
like a
freely
light I used
as
to
she
know.
said,
Your
didn't
laughter
come
shines
back.
for someone
once.
else now.
Not even when
While
we
I
needed you the
watch and
most.
let it go.
His legs gave in,
Close
and he
enough
dropped
to
to his
feel
knees
your
on the wet
presence,
ground,
far
the weight
enough
of his
to lose
decisions
my
crushing him,
place.
leaving
Just a
no
shadow
space for
in your
excuses
story,
anymore.
a forgotten
And
name,
just when it
a
seemed
fading
there was nothing
face.
worse left to reveal, the man in the coat
Quietly
delivered the
keep
final blow.
watching you
The life you're
like
living
a
now,
stranger
it was never
passing
meant to
by,
be yours.
standing
The words
outside
landed
your
on the
love
final
story,
verse, and for the first
while
time
my
in
own
years,
heart
the
asks me
billionaire
why.
felt truly
I'm the
empty, as if everything
silence
he built
in the
had no
background,
foundation left beneath
the
it.
one you'll never choose, loving
Yes,
you
faintly.
without
His voice
belonging,
eyes long,
with
as he
everything
struggled
to
to hold on to the
lose.
identity he had lived with for so long.
I don't
The
speak
man in the
my
coat stepped
hidden
closer,
feelings,
his gaze
I don't
unwavering,
reach to change your
slowly
way,
took back the photograph,
so I
holding
bury
it
all
between
my
them with a piece of
heartache
undeniable
and love
truth.
you from
The
far
identity he
away. I
built belonged to someone
quietly keep watching you like a
didn't
stranger
just
passing by, standing outside your love story,
cold wave
while my own heart asks me
as
why.
realization hit
I'm the silence in the background, the one you'll never choose, loving you without
the
belonging,
old woman
with
looked at him one
everything
last
to
time,
lose.
not with anger, but with a deep, painful disappointment that cut far deeper than any hatred ever could. I came to tell you the truth, not to take anything from you.
Maybe someday I'll stop
voice
hoping,
fading, but to
stop
give you
searching
one
your
last
eyes
chance
for me.
to face what you ran
But
from.
until then I'll
Tears
stay a
streamed down his
shadow,
face as he tried
where
to
your
speak,
heart will
but no
never
words
be.
came out, only broken breath and the unbearable weight of
I
regret
quietly keep
filling
watching
the man
you
in the coat
like a
turned towards
stranger
signaling
passing
the end
by,
of this moment,
standing
as if the truth
outside
had
your love
finally been
story,
delivered, and
while
nothing
my
more
own heart
needed.
asks me why.
The old
I'm
woman
the
slowly
silence
walked away,
in the background,
leaving the
the
billionaire
one you'll never choose,
surrounded
loving
not
you
by graves,
without
but by the remains
belonging,
of his own choices. The story ends
with
here, but the
everything to
mystery
lose.
lives on. Like, subscribe, and return for the next unforgettable journey.